Hey there, VCE HHD students. My name's Andy. I'm a VCE Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video, we're going to look at challenges in bringing about dietary change. Before we dive into this video, just a reminder that we have an online session preparing for extended response questions in VCE HHD coming up on June 6th from 5 till 6:15 p.m. Extended response questions are typically the 8 to 10 mark questions that might pop up in your SACs in the second half of the year and definitely in the exam at the end of the year. And these questions are typically the most challenging and lowest scoring for HHD students. So this session is designed to help you respond effectively to those questions. So if you head to the try booking link up here or to our website where there's also a link to register, okay, once you register you will get sent via email a couple of practice extended response questions to complete prior to the session. And during the session I will go through a PDF document with information on how to analyze and link sources in these types of questions, to break down the question and approach structuring and writing an answer. And then you'll get sent a copy of this document as well as sample answers to those practice extended response questions and also some additional practice extended response questions following the session. So as I mentioned, this is a session here that if you're trying to achieve a really high study score in HHD and wanting to do well with these types of questions, I would encourage you to head to that website, trybooking.com/CRMAK, or to our website and register. So in this video here, we're going to look at challenges in bringing about dietary change. So this is the last key knowledge point, or part of the last key knowledge point for Unit 3 Area of Study 2. And so you can see there that there's a list of many different challenges associated with dietary change. And really when we're looking at this key knowledge point, or this part of this key knowledge point, we're trying to think about why in Australia might people find it difficult to move away from diets that are often high in sugar, fat, particularly saturated and trans fat, and also sodium, to diets that are higher in vegetables and fruit. So you might have been chatting about in class the fact that many Australians don't meet the recommended guidelines for fruit and vegetable intake, and these are some of the challenges that they face in trying to consume more of these fruit and vegetables and move away from diets higher in those other energy dense and unhealthy nutrients. And so students often know a number of these different challenges, but they often fall down when they're answering SAC and exam questions because they don't know them in enough detail, or they don't provide enough information on how it's a challenge. So you can see here nutrition knowledge, cooking skills, time constraints, convenience, they're all associated with having an unhealthy diet, or a diet that's higher in some of those unhealthy nutrients and not consuming enough fruit and vegetables, and there's a range of other ones here. But what I would really encourage you to do is to set up some kind of table like this scaffolding table here. And if you've signed up to our free student newsletter, you'd have been sent a copy of this table recently. And if you haven't, if you head to our website and sign up there, you'll get sent a copy of this table. And it gives you the opportunity to list, or have those challenges listed for you, but then to work on explaining what the challenge actually means and how it influences people's daily diet. So you can see there for time constraints and convenience, I've given an example. And so the challenge is that people have busy lives and, for example, they work long hours, and therefore they might find it hard to find time, to purchase, prepare and cook meals with sufficient fruits and vegetables or foods from the 5 food groups. And so that challenge influences their diet because given this lack of time, they're more likely to purchase convenient takeaway foods, but they're often processed and high in those nutrients such as sugar, salt, saturated and trans fats. And so this is what I mean by knowing these challenges in enough detail. Often students just kind of know, for example, time constraints and convenience, and they can maybe say something briefly about the fact that people are busy and therefore can't cook nutritious, healthy foods, but they can't often outline, well, what does that mean on the flip side in terms of the diet that they do consume? So for each of these different challenges that you might have learnt in class, and that are listed here in this table, if you sign up and we'll send you a copy, you can then go through and practice doing what I've done there for time constraints and convenience. And the reason for this is that you might get a question like this in your SAC or the exam where you're asked to explain a couple of challenges that have impacted on an individual's ability to make dietary changes. So this is from a past exam, and so it's not just going to be a short 1-mark question. You're going to be expected most likely to go into a bit of detail there. So you can see this was worth 2 marks each. And so you'd have to be essentially doing what I mentioned previously in that table. Also, I've got down here the fact that this type of question could be slightly different, and it could say, okay, explain 2 challenges that could have an impact on the individual's ability to make dietary changes in relation to reducing obesity rates or in relation to increasing vegetable intake. So you just have to make sure you tweak your answer, okay, and make it specific to whatever that sort of aspect of the question is that's slightly different here. So if you're talking about time constraints and convenience, you could talk about the fact that therefore if they're short on time and they're consuming convenient foods that are often processed and high in sugar and fat, that might mean that they're more likely to gain weight, and then that can contribute to rates of obesity. So that's how you could slightly tweak it and just make sure that it's specific to that aspect of a question. Okay, so hopefully you found that video useful. As a reminder, there's a range of different ways to engage with Health Resources Hub. We've got our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube at the moment, you can hit subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there, and you'll get alerts to all of our new videos. We've got new ones coming out each week during the school term this year. We've got our website, thehrh.net.au, and as I mentioned, our free student newsletter. If you head there and sign up, you can get sent a copy of that table I just mentioned previously, our social media links, and also our email if you'd like to get in touch.